Hey, hello, hi everyone. Welcome to M Square MuleSoft Masterclass. This is Manisha Patil, and in this video, we are going to see MCP Server implementation in Mule4. As we all know, MCP stands for Model Context Protocol, which is nothing but it connects AI applications to external systems. So, different AI applications it can support like Windsurf, Cloudy, then Cursor AI. Here in this video, we are leveraging Cursor AI as an AI application, and external systems are nothing but the different end systems like Salesforce or any database. So here I am using MySQL database. So the use case which I referred here is as we all gone through the era of COVID. So there is one United Health Organization. They are having their centralized database and they want to maintain all the patient details to their like whether all the cases which are detected till now, like whether it's a positive negative recovered. So they just want to maintain that one centralized database wherein if we will go and if we will try to fetch update or register, we get all the information at one place only. So let's proceed. So the as a part of this use case I have developed some of the flows which I'll just go through. The very first one is nothing but MCP server fetch records. Sorry, let me tell you one thing. When it comes to MCP, MuleSoft MCP connector, it won't available directly. First, you have to go to Exchange and you have to download this MCP connector from Exchange. Once you downloaded it from there, I think the latest version is 1.3.0. Yeah, that is what I can see. Once you downloaded it, you can see these are the various connectors available inside it. So it mainly divided into two parts, MCP client and MCP server. So here in this video, majorly we are going to concentrate today on MCP server, that too very specific to MCP server tool listener, which is very widely used connector nowadays. So it's very similar to our REST API. Instead of HTTP listener, we are going to use tool listener here. So let's see how to configure it. Yeah, the flow which I considered is like fetch cases. So whatever details are present in the centralized database, it will just fetch all those COVID cases for you. So let's see how to configure this MCP server to listener. When it comes to MCP server, the major connection is like connector configuration. Major part is how to do connector configuration. So let's proceed further. Here in connection type, there are two types. One is SSE server and another one is streamable HTTP server. So now the question is when to go with which. So you should always prefer SSH server whenever you want to do any kind of asynchronous kind of communication. For example, fire and forget and push operations. For all those you can do this. And the another one is streamable HTTP server. You should always go with this one whenever you want to perform any kind of synchronous communication. If there is heavy payload of JSON object or you want to chunk that payload and then process it, in that case you should always go with streamable HTTP server. One major difference which I observe is like whenever we are going with this streamable HTTP server, this MCP endpoint path it points like this /MCP, and whenever we change it to SSE server, it changes to /SSE. So it's a major indicator of identifying exactly which connection type you are going with. And until and unless you change these values, because these are editable and you can always change this name. So here in this video, we are going to follow streamable HTTP server. So let's proceed further. In response content type, I choose it as JSON object. Here in server name and server version, these are mandatory fields. You can rename those accordingly. So once done with this connector configuration part, let's proceed further. Now we come to general section. In general section, the name. What this name exactly suggests? This name is nothing but whatever value you are going to hear. It will call it as MCP tool. So each flow is nothing but different MCP tool. As we all know, in MCP there are three main categories like MCP tool, MCP prompt, MCP resources. So MCP prompt is nothing but the instruction which we are going to use to our AI application. What MCP does, MCP actually connects AI applications to external system. So AI applications can be of different types. For example, Cloud AI, Windsurf, Cursor AI. Here in this video, we are going to use Cursor AI as our AI application, and the external system is nothing but our end systems, which is database. Here I pick it as SQL database, and It can be any connector like Salesforce, Workday, Snowflake, whatever. And MCP tool is nothing but it's kind of endpoint or operation which you want to perform. So here in this case, the operation is like fetching the retrieving the case details. So I named it as like fetch COVID details. Then this is the description which will tell us the purpose of this tool, like for what it is defined. So actually it's a get based API used to fetch COVID case records. Yeah, you can put any relevant info here. Then the major main part is like nothing but this parameter schema. So what should come in this parameter schema? As it's a generic one, as we are getting the details, it's a not post request. So I kept it as very generic schema like JSON schema org, and the type is object. In properties, we have to configure all the properties which are required further ahead in the flow. This is nothing but the input section. Whatever fields you are required as an input from the user, you should always define those properties here. And the required part is nothing but which field you want as mandatory and which field you want it as optional. So yeah, from the properties you should segregate it and define it here in required part. When it comes to responses, it gives actually in text based or image based. Here in this video we are going to receive it as text response only. So payload.raw. Okay, so let's proceed further. The rest flow is very simple and normal, like started fetch COVID case flow. Then here it came to database operation. Here it is just selecting whatever required information from this table, and then uh, yeah, it's just formatting, pasting it as a JSON payload, and the end flow. The another operation, another new MCP tool is like create records flow, which is nothing but registering a COVID case, newly COVID cases. So throughout the flow, I have used the same connector configuration. So let's proceed further. The tool name is nothing but register COVID case. The purpose is like this is a post-based API which will allow JSON payload to insert into the database. Yeah, just take a look at this parameter schema, which is very important because yeah, as part of database I created this table in the database. Here let me just show you. Yeah, I have used this query like create table, and I have used this field source, case ID, case type, first name, last name, email, national ID, and national type. So based on this, we have to pass all this info whenever we want to register any new case. Source, it will be like how you got to know whether it from hospital or clinic or something like that. Case ID will be unique ID. Case type, what is whether the patient is positive or negative or recovered. First name, last name, email, these are the details of the patient's. National ID is nothing but whether it's a like he has to provide any government approved ID, for example passport, Aadhaar or PAN card. So this is nothing but yeah. So I have created this table accordingly, and here in while registering COVID case, we have to pass all this info. So in properties section, I have declared all this like source, case ID, case type, first name, last name, email, national ID, and national ID type. And in required section, you can define whatever fields which are required from above section. In my case, I kept like everything as required only. So this is very important. Always take care while giving preparing this parameter schema. In response, I took it as like text response payload dot raw only. Very as similar to other flows, started register COVID case flow. Then here it's just building a request. In short, it is just mapping, like it is just taking values from payload and mapping it to the respective fields. Here in create, here we are having our insert query, which will insert it into our database, and the end flow. The next operation is like now the COVID, like we have till now we have seen for register COVID case and fetch COVID case. What suppose if we want to fetch a very particular case ID, very particular case, so based on the case ID. So if yeah, so for this we have to give input like case ID, because whatever case ID you are going to provide, it will fetch that specific case and it will give it to you. So fetch COVID case by case ID. Here the required input will be the case ID. So I kept that's it, sorry. And then a very normal started flow. Then just map the yeah, select query based on the case ID provided. Here in response, it will take it as JSON and the end flow. Now, what if suppose if patient forgets his case ID? In that case, he should always have his national ID with him, like whatever his Aadhaar number or passport number, PAN card number, whatever. So based on that, also we can provide the case. So fetch records by national ID flow. So sorry. If we see here, this is the tool name fetch COVID case by national ID. The purpose, it's a gate-based API used to fetch COVID case records based on the national ID provided. In the required parameter schema, now instead of case ID, national ID will be the required one. So we mapped it accordingly. Yeah, response will be the same text format. Started national ID flow, then fetch. It is just fetching based on the national ID provided, and then end flow. Now, what if suppose patient got recovered? So we should always update that case type also, right? Like from positive or negative to recovered. Sorry, from positive to recovered. So this tool, what this MCP tool will do is like for the specific case ID, it will update the case type. Update COVID case type by case ID. So whatever case ID and case type you will provide, it will update it to that. So here input fields are like case ID and case type. So in properties, I mapped it accordingly. And this is nothing but our update query. Like for the given case ID, it will update the case type. And at the very last, what if we want all the information in email to you? So this is the send email MCP tool. What it will do, whatever email ID you will provide, it will give that all the information to your email. So in send email connector, I just configured this subject part, like what should be the subject of your email. Then two part to which you have to give forward this email. You have to, yeah, and then body part, what the body part should contain. So here in send email connector, like I have configured it like this SMTP connection port as 587, and we have to generate app password for this. Okay, so yeah, it's done. So I have run this application in locally. It's deployed already in my local. Let's try to test this. So as we are using Cursor AI as an AI application, so let's open Cursor AI. Yeah, I'm using free plan only. So in Cursor AI, once you open, you will get a screen like this. So you have to go to here file section, then preferences, cursor settings, and you have to just go to tools and MCP. In my case, I have declared like I have defined these three clients, so I can see three entries here. In your case, if it's a fresh one, then you can see this new MCP server. Once you clicked on this, you have to just yeah, as we all know, in the architecture of MCP, what the main components, the MCP host, MCP client, and MCP server. In our case, we already saw how we created our MCP server is nothing but as our Mule application. It acts as the MCP server. MCP host is nothing but our Cursor AI is nothing but MCP host. And what is MCP client? MCP client is nothing but these are the different connections which we deployed on our MCP host. So each MCP host will create a separate connection with the MCP server. So here in this case, I have deployed three MCP clients. As you can see, this MCP server demo is nothing but my local application, which we defined. This MCP Anypoint platform is the one. There are like MuleSoft offered MCP tools are also there. So it's connecting with them. And this MCP server POC is nothing but the same application I have deployed in Runtime Manager. So we have to give URL in this format is like http localhost 881. Always make sure as we are using streamable http server, we should append this with /mcp. Okay, and don't forget to enable this until and unless it won't work. Okay, so these six tools enabled. So these six tools are nothing but the six flows developed by us in Studio, which I just showed you. So see, fetch COVID case, then update COVID case by case ID, then fetch COVID case by national ID, register COVID case, send email. So let's try to test. Here you can see this toggle AI pen. Just click on that. The chat window will open. Just select @mcp.json and then we will ask, can you please fetch all the cases present currently? So let's see what tool it use. It should use a fetch COVID case. Yeah, it's just thinking. It's very smart. He will think before every action. Yeah, so it ran fetch COVID case and it returned like this only one case is present in your database as of now. So I fetched this and this is the info. And it's very smart. It knows like what are the capabilities he can do. So yeah, so it's like, if you would like, I can filter based on national ID or case ID. I can register a new case. I can update the case type or send an email. Okay, let's ask. Can you please register a case? Yeah, now it will ask us for the input. See, whatever fields we have defined, source, case ID, case type, it is asking to register a case. I need a few details. Okay, so I just make it handy. We will give this information. Okay, let's see what it does further. Yeah, registering a COVID case. I will register this new COVID case with the MCP server. Okay, see, successfully registered the case. Okay, if we see in our database, we should see two cases now. Yeah, the first one and second one. So it has registered the COVID case successfully. Yeah. Suppose, sorry. Can you please fetch a case for case ID 01? Let's see for this specific case ID. Yeah, whether it fetches the cases. Yeah, it ran fetch COVID case by case ID, and it gave us all this information. Okay. Okay. Can you please update case type to recovered? VERED. Okay, recovered for this case. So let's see whether it update the case type. Yeah, update COVID case by case ID. See, first it has fetch like for this specific case ID, and then it has updated it to recovered, like case type successfully updated to recovered for case ID. Can you please send this information in email? We have to give a email ID here. If we have not provided, it will use this one, but as these all are dummy created by me, so I'm just giving email ID. I will send an email via the MCP notification tool. Yeah, this is nothing but send email MCP tool it is using now to send email. First, it will draft email and then it will send it for us. So, email successfully sent via MCP server. Subject it decided is like COVID case update recovered status. Let's see whether we received the email. Yes, this is the email COVID case update recovered status. Just download this file. Okay, open. Yeah. Dear Riva Patankar, your COVID case status has been updated to recovered, and these are the case details. See, if you believe any of this information is incorrect, please contact your healthcare provider. Best regards, COVID care team. So, how smart it is! Like, it just not only draft the message, like the content for us, but it's actually sent that email to. So, yeah, this is what I just want to tell to you all. I hope things are clear to you and you will try to implement, yeah, implement this in your studio too. Yeah, just just try to explore. If you have any doubt, always feel free to connect with me. Yeah. Thank you. Happy learning.